Hello, Guardians. It is Ebontis here. We are back. It is November 4th, and this is the week of November 2nd through November 9th. We've gone past Wednesday when Banshee will actually reset his rolls, so there are a couple in here that I wanted to point out, and there are a couple things in the TWAB that I wanted to point out as well. That being said, I did want to cover daylight savings time for everybody in at least North America and the United States and all those that switch the times. This weekend on Sunday, November 7th, daylight saving time happens, and you're going to have your daily and weekly resets occurring at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time after this weekend. And for Banshee, he does have the new set of weapons that come in at 9 a.m. Pacific. And then you've also got the second set of perk rolls on the same weapons that's now going to happen on Wednesday. If I can do math, it's going to be at like 4 p.m. Pacific Time after this weekend. So just so you guys get an update on time, daylight savings time is going to happen. All right, let's look at these weapons. First, you got a Night Watch, Threat Detector, and Rampage. Not anything too exciting. Does have Tactical Mag. You've got Polygonal Rifling, giving up a little bit of range, some handling. Typically in a Scout Rifle, you don't want things to be in close proximity, so that's the main downfall here. Rampage is not a bad thing, but this one, just for a Scout Rifle, really takes away from it. You've got Lonesome, Full Auto, and Opening Shot. You've got range on this one. You can even give it more range if you want to go Hammer Forged with a range Masterwork. So if you like a sidearm that's full auto, you've got strong Opening Shot, basically about the max range that you're going to have on a sidearm. Because if you max this one out, you can see it's there. Add another 10 or 9 from this one, you're going to get a lot of range. With Opening Shot for the accuracy and range as well, it's about as max range as you're going to get on a sidearm. So if you're a sidearm person, think they could have their heyday at some point, this thing's already got decent stability. I mean, Chambered Compensator is helping with recoil, a little low on handling speed, a little boost in stability. But if you're going for range, which sidearms can benefit from basically across the board, Opening Shot, Ricochet rounds, Hammer Forged Rifling, Tier 1, all the way up to Tier 10, basically nearly max this range out, especially for Opening Shot. That's going to be a really solid roll. So if you are a sidearm fan, this is almost perfect. This could be swapped, but again, if you like full auto, just sit there and hold the trigger. Could be even better for you. Some people do like that, some people don't. Overall, 3 out of 4 here are pretty solid with this as well. Can't really complain. This is one, if you like sidearms, don't miss this one. It's actually probably really good. Nature of the Beast, this is a 180 hand cannon. I'm not a huge fan of 180s, but that's just me personally. Rangefinder's never a bad thing right now on hand cannons. Quick draw, kind of hit or miss, depending on if you're playing with a quick draw style of play. That's up to you. We've got a Pendant and Alloy Mag. No benefits to range or stats in this one. You do have Hit Mark and True Sight, which isn't bad. Little handling. Overall, it's kind of fine. Rangefinder's okay, but Quick Draw is only going to serve for a very specific build. Eternal Blazon. And this is stuff I've mentioned to you guys before. At some point in your vault, you guys need to collect an Arc, a Solar, and a Void of most types of weapons, and then also a Kinetic, so you've got some backups. For Arc Scout Rifles, there are not a ton of them, and this is a very easy one to get, especially if you're looking for, you know, say we have certain champions that need Scout Rifles and it's in a PvE situation. This is actually a pretty good setup. You've got Disruption Break. Breaking enemy shield with this weapon makes them more vulnerable to kinetic damage for a brief period of time. Not a bad way, especially if you say you're running with like a Sniper Rifle or Arbalist, for example. Who knows? You've got some options in there. Arbalist, whenever it turns into barrier, is actually going to be really fantastic. Rapid Hit, you've got Light Mag to give you a booster range, reload speed, a little less in ammo, but probably by 1, literally. And you've even got a Short Zoom Scope, gonna boost range a little bit, extra bonus to handling. You've got extra range here as well. So overall, I mean, even think about this one. You're gonna have boost to reload speed here, boost to stability with Rapid Hit. You're gonna be able to break the shield, make them more vulnerable if you have a better weapon to switch over to. Overall, for PvE, this may not be like the God roll of God rolls, but for a Arc Scout Rifle, this is going to serve you fairly well in PvE situations, and you've got some good perks to go with it. Nice reload bonuses here, a little bit of boost to range masterwork, and you could even throw anything down there that you feel necessary. But overall, PvE, this is not a bad Scout Rifle at all. Definitely make sure you're starting to build your load out of Arc, Solar, and Void, Scout Rifles, Auto Rifles, like one of each archetype, one of each damage type, so you know, depending on what you're facing, you've got it covered. Right here, Tarantula. This is something I had kind of missed out on with some of you guys last week, and this is something I actually wanted to really point out this time, especially because you've got Field Prep. Now, not everybody runs around crouching, or crouching to specifically reload. It's something you almost have to be conscious of if you're trying to play that style. But the biggest thing is Field Prep is ammo reserves. You've got bonus ammo reserves from Field Prep, and then you're going to have bonus ammo reserves from your chest piece, for example, if you put it on there. On top of that, kills with this weapon generate ability energy, and the energy is divided between your uncharged abilities. Not the best thing here, but at least you're getting some benefit to your abilities when you kill things in PvE. Not a bad thing. You can either go liquid coils for increased damage, but you are going to have a slower charge time, or you can come down here for stability. A little lower charge time, but a little boost in stability. Probably would stick with liquid coils. Charge time isn't that affected per se, but also you've got the higher damage, which is always a good thing. On a linear, especially for those crits. Increased range, never bad. If you want to boost that one up, you're going to be giving up handling for it. This does improve recoil. Depends on how fast you're trying to pump out the shots. If you're trying to put them into a boss, this is probably going to be better. If you're just going for single taps, this is probably good. Also a big shot to range here as well. And then, of course, whatever you want in your mod socket. But just the field prep alone on linear fusion rifles for the rest of the season, because we're going to be using linear fusion rifles for this dungeon coming up in December, it's something you're definitely going to want to pay attention to. So having extra ammo on your linears, especially when you start some activity, go into a boss fight, whatever it may be, field prep, not a bad thing, especially on heavies. Finally, we've got Crown Splitter. Now, it's not what I would call like a perfect roll by any means. Usually you're going to work for Relentless Strikes and Whirlwind Blade. But if you are going to be in close proximity with a sword, maybe you're surrounded, so this is not the worst thing in the world. And then it also says, as this one can actually have a heavy attack with full energy, it's basically a slam, and it won't do a full like AoE shot, but it is going to get you a nice little burst. You've got Jagged Edge for increased damage. You're going to give up some ammo for it. You got greatly increase the sword ammo at the cost of damage, which usually I won't do. Hungering Blade, kind of that nice little bounce in between, which is pretty good to go for. But Tireless Blade, sword ammo granted for every other powered sword kill. And if you're going for the powered sword kills, which is going to be your big heavy swings, specifically with this sword, that's actually not the worst that you'll find. There are better options. Surrounded can be beneficial. There are times when you are surrounded, say you're wailing at a boss and there's other things around you, slam, clear it all out. This is not a horrible roll. Of course, still, I tend to just dip into the ones that everybody's going to want, which is going to be your Whirlwind and Relentless. That's usually like your optimal, because literally continuous strikes with the light one, the heavy one gets you stuff like bonus damage. That's probably your best, but for like a backup, this is okay. This is definitely not the worst I've seen. So those are definitely the weapon rolls for Banshee. Now let's do a couple, touches on the TWAB, nothing major. Final thing we've got of basically importance is going to be a brief touch on Trials. If you guys are done with the weapons video, you can totally tune out. But as for Trials, matchmaking last week when they were doing the accumulated win matchmaking, basically it wasn't liked by a whole lot of people on Twitter. I saw that. There was incentives to stop playing. Like, the more you won, the harder it got. So there's literally an incentive not to win, which is backwards. And they even state here, overall games played was down by about a third. You've got average skilled players was about the same, but high skilled was down again by about a third. So matches played were down, playtime was down. Matchmaking times, which is something they've harped on quite a bit. We talked about that in the podcast. They were up by about 10 seconds, which wouldn't be the end of the world. And I was even okay, 10, 20 seconds for a better match. That's fine. But people who were really high in the win counts were up to 2 minutes to 5 minutes for matches. That's not great, especially for those people. I know if you win a lot, yeah, you probably should have, some specific matchmaking guidance to get you against people a little closer to you, but 5 minutes for a match, you may as well leave, go make a sandwich, and come back at that point. That's pretty long. Basically what they're saying is, combined with the feedback on social media channels and their data showing it's either negative or neutral, they fueled their decision to move back to a purely card-based matchmaking system with a flawless pool for the foreseeable future. So last week did get reverted back to the flawless pool. I'm guessing that will kick in on Sunday as it has previously. And then it's going to be purely card-based. So if you're on win 1, you're against people in win 1. If you're on win 7, you're against people in win 7. We can't seem to get back to week 1, which is what a lot of people would like to see at this point. I think I'm in agreement. Looks like Trials Labs is going to be coming next week, so we'll have to see what that one is. I'm honestly blanking what the specifics of Trials Labs, but we'll get that info next week. But the other piece is, right now, at some point we would like to see an experiment of just whatever week 1 was that everybody seemed to like and enjoy. Take us back to that for at least a week of testing, because this late into the season, player drop-off and things of that nature, I think a lot of us would like to see the data about a week 1 trial at this point into the season. Just a speculation from a lot of people, but that's what I'm seeing a lot of on Twitter. If you guys have any thoughts about whether it be the weapons or the Trials matchmaking changes, did you have a good experience last weekend? Did it completely suck? What would you like to go back to? Me, I just want to see flawless, or I want to see freelance every so often, at least as an option, like every other week, every third week, something kind of, you know, intermixed in there every blue moon, just because that was really nice to know. I'm never going to face a 3-stack, personally. If I'm going to play flawless, or solo, that's the way to do it. Otherwise, teams are kind of the way to go, where you've got a bit of a crapshoot in there. But yeah, if you guys have any thoughts about Trials matchmaking, any weapon rolls that I may have missed or not given the love that I needed to, please drop those in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like on this one. Again, if you are watching this one, please tune in for the podcast. Hopefully my internet plays nice tonight. Of course, it's always a bit of a gamble, but we will be live 7 p.m. Eastern time right here on my YouTube channel for episode number 172. It's just going to be the 3 hosts, so Lord Cognito, Ty Guy Travis, and myself talking about basically this stuff, Trials, the Elden Ring stuff that dropped today, 4s that came out, so it could be a hit or miss mixed bag of whatever we got going on in the world of gaming, but Destiny will, of course, always be a big portion of that. So hopefully see you guys in chat or checking it out later. You guys will find the stream as soon as it's done, so thank you all very much. And if you enjoyed this video, you can find me on Twitter at Ebontis, find me streaming sometimes on twitch.tv/Ebontis, but right here on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell, and if you guys want to support me directly, join the channel as a member. You guys will get emotes and access to other things that I do, and also you guys can support me on Patreon as well over there. Thank you very much. See you soon.